Hey everyone, Chris here from Realridesharestories. On this channel we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. But before we get started, if you have a crazy Uber or Lyft experience, whether you're a passenger or a driver, record it, send it my way, and maybe we can feature you on the channel. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about car maintenance and saving you money. Most of the people watching this are probably rideshare drivers. If you're not a rideshare driver and you have a vehicle, hey, guess what? This is going to apply to you as well. It is summer. That means it is hot out. It's like 90 degrees out right now, and I'm sitting in my car with the sun baking on it. The windows are open, but I'm still hot. So here's the thing. When you're doing rideshare, you probably are doing you probably have the air conditioner on and running. Air conditioning is huge in just about every area right now because of how hot it is. So if you are doing a few things or allowing your car to do a few things that where the vents get dirty, the air filter is dirty within the cabin filter, a lot of different things like this, your air conditioning can be running really bad, not at all. And you might take it to a shop and they're going to charge you a lot of money to try to fix the problem, when these are a few things that you can check for the air conditioner to make sure it's running well yourself. So first off, the first thing you can do, check the cabin filter. I'm going to be doing a video in the near future on replacing both the cabin air filter and the air filter within the engine itself for the intake. So there's a few different things there on what you can do, but you want to make sure that you check your cabin air filter, because that is overlooked by most people. They don't even realize that they have a cabin air filter within their car. So you want to make sure that you change the filter regularly. In fact, I have to right now, so I'm actually going to be doing that video. Will be coming out very soon. But yeah, that's one thing that you can do. If you have a bad air filter and if you turn your air conditioner or heater on, depending on the time of the season, and right away you kind of get like a little smell, that's probably a dirty air filter that needs to be replaced. Now, most cabin air filters are located behind the glove box. You want to check your vehicle for sure. You could check a YouTube vehicle that's your vehicle dependent, or check the owner's manual, the maintenance guide for your vehicle, and it should show you exactly where the cabin air filter is, and if you have one. Most vehicles do, and most vehicles have a cabin air filter that's located behind the glove box. So that's where you want to do it. So once you get that changed, that's a good thing, because that's going to constrict a lot of air, especially right now with the pollen, these cottonwood things that are flying all over the place, where it can get up into your car and cause just blockage within the filter itself. So it's a really good idea to replace that around this time if you haven't already. Now, it's recommended to change it once a year, but hey, guess what? If you are driving rideshare and you're watching this video, you're probably using your car a lot more than the average driver. So that means you're going to probably have to replace it a lot more often. My recommendation, depending on how often you drive, I would say seasonal, but you want to check it, I would say every oil change. Just at least check it and make sure it's clean if it gets dirty, because hey, guess what? Like I said, this time of the year, there's a lot of pollen in the air. So that pollen will get right into the filters themselves and can clog it up pretty good, especially if you're driving a lot. So make sure you do that. Also, big thing right here is check where the air comes in. That's a major thing right there. Usually in the fall, a lot of leaves and twigs and just things get into it. And also now with those little tree propeller things that are coming down, the cottonwood, the pollen, all that can build up within the intake that's right there on the car frame itself, and cause problems. So you want to make sure that you get all that out. One of the things that I recommend doing is just checking it over real quick. If it does look clean, just take a shop vac on a low setting, suck out anything that could be within that area. It's just going to be good for the system, where it's going to be running a little bit more efficiently for you. And then also, again, if you see leaves, if you see pollen or the cottonwood or those tree propeller things all sitting on the intake right there, you want to make sure you clean that off. You can hand pick it off, or you could take a shop vac again on a low setting and just get that cleaned off. Because that is where the point of entry for a vehicle's intake for the cabin air is going to come. And that's usually located on just under the windshield wipers right there in that little spot. You'll see the little vents. That's usually where the intake is for the cabin air itself. So clean that area. And then again, also, even if it looks clean, just run a shop vac along that to make sure you get any air, anything in that out. One of the big things too is keeping vents free. So keeping your your outtake vents free, which means everything that's blowing the air out. Your system is designed to be free of any obstruction. So you want to make sure that all of your vents are open and running freely. Now, if people are coming in using the car or shutting it off, try to angle the vent in a way that it won't hit the person or make them uncomfortable or anything, because sometimes it can be a little bit of discomfort if you have the air conditioning on too much, or if it causes them to get cold. Maybe they just run cold easily, and it could be 90 degrees and they could still get goosebumps or something due to Raynaud's disease or lack of blood in their system. There's a lot of different things that can cause a person to be cold, even in hot situations where it's hot out, but they still could get goosebumps or be cold. So you want to make sure you take their comfort into mind as well. But with that being said, your system does run best when everything's open and free. So you want to make sure. Also, one of the big things is phone mounts that go onto the vent. You want to try to limit that. Now, I do have a vent phone mount. I like it because it keeps it out of obstruction from the view of the window of the front, so I can see. Now, with that being said, I also have it at the highest point I can put it, so it's only semi-obstructed, which is a good thing, but the rest of the vents are free, they're open, they're clear. And also, one of the last things you can do, if you're able to pop out the vent and get a shop vac in there, each one, just suck out the air, any of the dust that might get into it. And then one last thing that you can do too is check underneath the seats. So that means the passenger seat and the driver front seats, literally right underneath me and right next to me underneath. When you do max air conditioning settings, a lot of the times, most vehicles will actually use air recirculation, and that means they're going to be getting their air from a couple of different places. They usually have it underneath both the passenger and the driver's seat, so you want to make sure underneath your car, passenger and driver seats, again, they're clean, so that air has a free flow of going in. Also, take that shop vac, try to get the that vent just sucked out, sucked dry, so then any dust, any crap or anything that gets into it, comes back out and it's clear. All right, a couple of things that you want to look for with the air conditioner as well, that's going to be in the engine. You want to check your cooling fans and make sure that they're working. Turn the air conditioner on, make sure they're working. They should be running just to keep the airflow going. Also, one of the last things that you want to do is check your condenser. Your condenser is usually located in front of the radiator, and it's got these little fins that can catch pollen, that can catch the cottonwood, that can catch bugs, that can catch debris. And if it's got obstructions to it, it's not going to be running as efficiently. And this is how it removes the hot air from inside the car out. So you want to make sure you have that condenser clean. Now, here's a real big tip with the condenser. Those little fins that are there, they are very, very delicate. and they can bend easily, and you don't want them to bend because that can also affect the performance. So one of the big things that you want to do is make sure that you are very delicate when removing any debris there. Take it out very gently, but you want to make sure, again, it's clean. You can take a shop vac. Don't necessarily hit the fins on it, but take the shop vac, clean it off. Take a rag and just lightly touch it to get that stuff off, because it's going to be running a lot more efficiently for you. And again, that's what takes the hot air out in the condenser right there, and expels it. All right, so now after all those things are checked and done, if your air conditioning is still not working, there is one last thing that you can do where you don't have to take it into the shop yet, and that is check your refrigerant pressure. And there's a lot of ways. It's very easy that you can do that. There's a lot of kits out there that have the refrigerant with the pressure on it. So all you got to do is make sure you get the line that you insert the refrigerant into, and then check the pressure on it. If it's low, fill it up to the proper level. Don't over pressurize it. It'll have a gauge on there that'll let you know where, if it's low, if it's at the right pressure, or if it's over pressured. So do not over pressure the line. They're not made for it. They're made for a certain PSI. Anything over than that can cause damage to the lines itself, so you don't want to do that. But that is one thing that you can do, where you can refill the refrigerant in the system if it's low pressure. If you haven't used it in a while, it might be low, or just over time it might get low. But if you notice it gets low quickly, that means there's a leak in your system and you will have to take it in. Yes, it could get a little expensive, but they'll have the proper diagnostic equipment to do it, which means they'll do a dye test and see exactly where it's leaking from. So hopefully all those things that you can do beforehand will help you save time, save money, and prolong the visit to getting any real work done on your air conditioning system. Also, it'll prolong the life of the air conditioning system, so it'll be running smooth for you. Now, again, I did go through those a little bit quick, but that's the great thing about these videos, is you can go back and rewatch and check everything that I was talking about. So with that being said, guys, that's the end of today's video. I will be doing more car maintenance videos for you guys. So as rideshare drivers, it will help you save money. It'll also make sure that you get it done, and you know you get it done properly, as well as just knowing a little bit more about your vehicle. It's always a good thing, because you're in your vehicle so much more than the average person when you are driving rideshare. So again, it's going to be great knowledge to have. Now, with that being said, guys, that's the end of today's video. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, make sure you give a good thumbs up for this video. Also, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified for all of our upcoming videos, like the car maintenance videos, like the world's worst rideshare driver with Rideshare Driver Joe, and everything else that we do on the channel. All right, guys, as always, never drink and drive, always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.